What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused. NeuroGum is a chewing gum. They've also got mints. It's got caffeine, L-theanine, vitamins B6 and 12. Helps with energy and focus. I like to chew it really all the time. I chew it whenever I'm driving around in my car, showing houses, or out with clients. If I just need a quick pick-me-up in the afternoon and stops me from grabbing another coffee or energy drink. It's about 40 milligrams per piece, so it's about half a cup of coffee per piece of gum. So get out there and try some NeuroGum.
Yeah, I could have used that this morning.
Yeah. yeah. Pat went to his, what was that, like your
first fundamental jiu-jitsu class, so. And got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
First black guy, or kind of, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
can officially say I do.
I was like, whoa, it's your first black dude? That's
what I heard too. Holy shit.
It's 2024, bud.
Yeah. Well, to announce our awesome guest today, he's a friend of mine, a pro MMA fighter, pro kickboxer, the president of CXBJJ, the great and powerful Adam Cella.
What's up, guys? Hey, a couple things to correct. I'm retired from two of those things. Vice president of CXBJJ.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, makes me sound way cooler.
Hey, I'm just trying to hype you up, bro.
Yeah, don't do that. That sets the bar way too high.
Yeah, man. Well, we were just talking before the show started about the event here in St. Louis this past weekend. They held their third invitational here in St. Louis with their third pro card. We all went. It was an absolute blast, man. How did everything turn out as you guys hoped? Or
it was great. It's the third time we've sold out. And that venue, so a lot of people compliment the venue. I've had one person complain about it, and she was on the second show we did. It sounded like she wanted me to rent out the Scott Trade Center so she could have more room, food, bunch of bathrooms, good parking. I'm like, lady,
yeah, come on,
get out of here.
It's a jiu-jitsu pro card.
Yeah, I'm like, chill. Like, you're asking for too much. But the venue is exceptional, right? And you guys were all there, so it's very different than what you normally see. I went for like an underground fight scene. That's what, like how you would be like, oh shit, we're kind of probably not supposed to be here, and there's probably people betting on stuff.
Sure,
but that's what I wanted, right? And I went in there.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and it's dark. I have dark like Yellow Wolf is the rapper. I have his like Pandora Station playing over the back, and they're like, oh yeah, it's good music. I'm like, yeah, it's not me, but I found it once. I thought it was cool, but the venue's badass. Parking sucks, but that's downtown. What do you expect?
I mean.
Good and bad, but the venue's great. Parking sucks, but the fans turn out every single time.
Yeah,
right. And we jam the house full. Full. So it's second level's full, first level's full. Never have problems with like bathrooms or the bar or nothing like that. So
there's really not a bad seat in the house. I mean, you can see everything with me, especially with the elevated stage. You just got to make sure that no one gets thrown off the stage.
Yeah. So Josh McKinney. The first one, Josh McKinney and his Josh Murdoch, they rolled off the first one. Second one, we had no issues anywhere close. This third one, the heavyweights and the people before them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I'm about to stop this. Like, either like stay in the
trying
gray.
To throw each other off.
There were some little kids in that front row, too. Yeah. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Well, the problem is whenever you are being – it was kind of explained to me. I was sitting with James Krause and my partner Enrique, who are both black belts, and James Krause obviously has his own resume of excellence. Whenever you're being pushed back, like the defense is not to go backwards.
No.
Like you want to turn and switch it up a little bit. They weren't doing that. They were just going backwards, and the guy pushing forward. Right when he got to the edge of the mat, that's when he decided, I'll try a takedown now.
Right.
Like, dude, this is it's not a tournament. It's a different level. You got to work for that takedown inside that little gray area. So that was I might change that next time and not have so many like blue belts.
Yeah. How many blue belt, purple? How did you
so
have
we
it
had,
this year?
we had, I say 2 kids.
Yeah. Man, those second, the kid with the cornrows and that was a hell of a match.
So
I missed that one.
That was Joseph Gogny or something. He's out of Perryville,
Okay.
which I never knew Perryville.
How old
had
are those kids?
Those
12.
kids were like 13 or 14.
Fuck.
So
We were all saying, like, dude, when those kids are 18, we're all fucked.
well,
I'm fucked now.
Yeah.
yeah. And judging how your experience went,
I'm already fucked.
so. But no, we had the first kids were 2 Cadens. I watched them go at AGF like 2 weeks before, and I was like, okay, this will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the one kid from Pedigo, Caden St. Angelo, he's a butt scooter.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just dropped to his butt and then just kept coming at
Yeah,
it, and the other
and-
kid
well-
was just backing up the whole time.
And Caden Caston, who I've coached against him in wrestling, he beat the shit out of my kids
Really?
all year. He's a little stud.
Really?
But he's saying get up, and that's
Yeah.
where the referee was our first ref having this guy. He is a Pedigo guy, and I was like, "Can you be unbiased? Because like I'll get rid of you right away."
Sure.
He's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." You know, like, but he speaks Italian, so it's not like Portuguese. So
I was like Black Forces on.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like fuck.
So did I, though.
So we yes, he did, and people were mad he had mats on the shoes on the mats, and I was
we heard
like,
a lot of that.
fuck, I don't really care, guys.
Yeah. It's a one time. Yeah.
I cleaned them once. You're fine. And but I don't like that butt scooting. Stand them back up. Then the next ones were 2 girls. Mm-hmm. Those girls, that Cassidy Hartman, she's a bad little chick.
That one happened quick, didn't it?
Yeah,
I went
so-
to the bathroom and then I heard them. You know.
Yeah. Cassidy
Cheering.
won. So the one thing we want to harp on is if you do our tournaments and you win everything, you'll get invited to this pro event, most likely.
Cool.
Cassidy, I watched her win our tournament, which our first tournament wasn't like a huge tournament, but she won. She did great. She was at Arnold BJJ, and then I guess they had problems there, so she was leaving. Now she's at Pedigo, but she's a bad little chick. And then the other girl with her Scarlett, she sold a ton of tickets.
Really?
It's another way to get back on.
Yeah, for sure.
Sell tickets, but I would like to have her back on there because she's a great little. She's from BJJ Lifestyles out in South County.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had the Spicone kid, and then the other St. Angelo brother. That one was a little bit confusing because we had said no ankle locks for kids.
Right, and they were that's all they were doing.
But that St. Angelo kid was going for straight ankle locks, and then I was like, that's like the ref needs to step in, but like I don't want to interrupt the show and say, hey, you can't do that. And then the other kid was like, fuck it, we're going for ankle locks. And then he was going for him, and then I think the one kid got slapped in the face or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, fucking punks. Like, God, just get done. I'm over this. But then we had I think we had 2 blue belts, and those were the ones trying to throw each other off. I think I had maybe 2 purple belts.
Yeah, 'cause you had Bryce and his guy.
Yeah.
And then
Corey's a brown belt now, isn't he?
yeah, Corey's a brown belt.
Yeah, Corey got his brown belt with John.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, as I call him. I think that's about it on
Yeah,
that. And then it was browns, and then I had a handful of brown belts, which was cool.
Yeah, you had Court,
Yeah. Court, Kevin,
Uso.
Corey.
Those were all good matches, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Uzo's was really back and forth, and you know.
So
he ended up-
Dennis wanted that match.
Yeah.
They had gone before, I guess, in like February.
and Uzo
and-
won, right? Didn't he?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Uzo won the last time.
But Dennis was like, now, do you guys know who Dennis Williams is?
yeah, he's. Oh, I mean, I know him. I mean, I know who he is, and I know he always refs at Fuji tournaments and stuff like that.
So
yeah.
literally one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Very helpful. When I started doing this, he was like, hey, if you need help, let me know, because he ran all the Fuji stuff.
Sure.
And then he sold it, but he's still like, hey, man, and we're still cool. But super jiu-jitsu nerd, right? Like, he's like, bro, our match is going to be so exciting. And I'm like, okay. Like, it's 2 little guys in gis. Like, it's not that exciting. That shit was exciting.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, damn, that, like, okay.
Well, like Uzo's like one of the, like, he's just so fast and wiry and like technical. Like,
Cerebral.
yeah, it's just, I mean, I knew it was going to be, I mean, just watching Uzo roll in the gym is always interesting to watch just because he's so athletic.
And then Dennis actually did a good job of pulling guard. Typically guys are guard pullers are boring, but Dennis was like pulling guard and attacking right away.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Dennis is really close to getting his black belt. And he told me afterwards, he's like, if I get promoted, he's like, the next one, I have a name, I will submit him, and I will hurt him. And I'm like, okay, nerd. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. But yeah, no, I'd like to have both those guys on, and they did well, especially on 3 weeks notice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that was pretty last. They were like the last one you guys announced, right?
Well, yeah, because
you and I were out to lunch when you were like, yeah, I just got they just committed or whatever. Yeah,
because I saw Dennis at AGF and he's like, he's always said he wanted to get on, but I don't want to pressure anybody. If you say yes and then I ask you and you can't do it, I'm not going to bug you. Mm-hmm. He said he wanted to get on. I said, okay, I'll make it happen. I messaged Kyle. Kyle said yes. So Uzo said yes, and I was like, we're in. Boom. Let's go.
Easy.
And now the scoring you guys did wasn't traditional scoring.
So the one thing we have to improve on, we have to make a rule set list that this is it. What I've always done is we just say go off IBJJF. That's kind of where we're going to start. But if you are a blue belt and you are like a leg lock dude and your opponent's down with like heel hooks and shit, let's do it. Mm-hmm. I got to get away from that. I got to be a little bit more firm with the rules. But as far as the scoring goes, we go for aggression. You're trying to finish. So like if I'm going Zach and I do a takedown and I stay on top, but he's like firing shit off from his back, like trying to finish the match, he's gonna win. We've given it to those people and we've been booed.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we saw it at the tournament this.
Yeah,
and we were a little biased. Obviously, we all wanted Colin to win. You know, but we're like, if this was a point system, you know, like Colin probably, I believe Colin would have won with the takedown at the sweep. I think he passed. So that's twice, you know. Cody was more aggressive with like attacking leg locks and stuff.
And that's what we go for. Like there was a match in Kansas City we did that a guy was literally on his back the whole time. The dude on top just stuck him, but the dude on bottom was moving, trying to, you know, he was trying. We gave it to the dude on bottom. We got booed by the whole place. He actually gave his belt to the other guys. Like, I didn't win that. But they don't understand our rules. Like and we've made it very clear. Your job is to finish this match. Like, I don't care if you get a takedown, pass guard, you get mount. That's cool. Do something with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, this is not a tournament.
Right.
So when we judge it, that's what we kind of go off of.
So you're designing it to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yes.
Well, that's why entertaining.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's why I have my first one I did a 16 by 16 mat, a little too small. Mm-hmm. So I had to upgrade and make it 20 by 20, which is like a traditional kind of competition size. Yeah. So it works, especially for the venue. I thought about going bigger.
Then you'd really lose that seat.
But then then I lose seating. And I don't think it's going to really matter.
Yeah.
So.
No, it was perfect, man. We had such a good time. There was so many good matches too, man. Jordan Dowdy's match was really entertaining.
Yeah,
that was really back and forth. I mean, they hit that beautiful Uchimata.
So he hit that, and I was like, that was very controlled.
Yeah,
it was like,
and it was like perfect. They landed like almost in the center of the mat.
It was like that's how
they're big boys, and they landed. And
that's how you drill it. It's like, hey, we're drilling this. Here we go, and it was like perfect. But Jordan's, I like to think I'm one of Jordan's main training partners. I'm with him every Monday, every Friday. Him and I go every time together. And we went 10 minutes straight on the Monday before. And Jordan, his back had been bugging him. So he's like, I kind of want to let it go. Now, he's also a weird dude. If you guys ever talk to Jordan.
Not much.
He's very, so I've gotten to know him over the past probably 12 months, maybe a little bit more. We've become pretty good friends. He is very, he's very direct, but it's like there's no play in his words, right?
Blunt.
Yes, but he's like, my back hurts. There's no saying, okay, well, let's ease into it. He's like, no, I'm taking off. Like, there's, you know what I mean? There's just really, there's no give. But his back's been bugging him, and he's kind of kept it under wraps with me.
Sure.
Now, I knew he was bugging him. He told me, but it was like, I didn't know if it was like hurting him stuff.
Or he's gonna have to
because he will not pull out of a match. He's like, it's jiu-jitsu. I'll be fine. But him and I went on Monday, and we went 10 minutes straight, and I wrestled the fuck out of him. And he would have won if it was a match, but then we went again. He subbed me 4 times in like 5 minutes. Like, fuck off. Like, it's like, now he's a very good training partner. I've got a bad shoulder, bad neck, head surgery, and all these things. And he gets something, he like lets it go. So I consider that a sub.
Yeah.
He was nice. I lost, no big deal. But I was like, damn, dude, you're fucking ready, bro. Like, let's go.
Yeah, who's the guy who did he go against?
He went against a guy from Springfield named Ryan Culbertson. Okay. Ryan Culbertson Fager is a hyphen. I don't know if he took his wife's name or what, but I don't know how that works. But that gym, Springfield BJJ, he had just competed the week before at Synergy for that quintet. They had like a quintet style.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I didn't know he was like 6'7" though.
Yeah, I didn't either. He's a big.
Jordan's
boy.
like, he's like 6'7". I was like, I have no idea. I just got long ass arms. Yeah. And I saw him. I was like, I'm not usually shorter than people, but I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
So
you just mentioned quintet. Have you guys ever thought about doing something like that?
Yes.
Like offset.
So
dude, I think that is such a cool rule set.
So the only problem is
for you guys that don't know, I guess let's explain that. Quintet. It's like at least there's only been a couple of them, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically they're like 5-man teams. So essentially, like you do a team from a tack team or a pedago team, where essentially the team total is a weight. So you can do it by like you need 5 guys, so you need to split up the weight accordingly. You need to have like a big guy, a small guy, a couple medium-sized guys, but like it's like think of everybody stepping on a scale together, like that's your team total. And then it's like 5 versus 5, and so if Adam and I are on different teams, and Adam goes out and subs me in that first round, Adam stays in and he's got to fight the next guy from our team. But if no submission happens in that, then we're both out.
Okay. So I want to do it a little bit different, right? I want to have like, okay, we're gonna have purple, brown, 2 blacks. I would love to have it like that,
like
so that it's so it's like fair, right?
Sure.
Because if it was a tag team, we put Matt Green in and everybody else takes a seat.
Yes.
You go first, and we're gonna have a good night.
Yeah, like, and then put Nick behind him, and then we can just chill.
You don't even have to.
Yeah, don't even have
to. Nick and I talked about it. We were like, put Matt Green in, and they're fucked. Like, he's a monster.
He's a fucking he's a demon.
And since he's not here, I'll just tell you, I beat the shit out of him.
Oh yeah.
Every time we roll, I have to go easy on him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's not here.
Nick, come on the show.
Yeah. No, not Nick. Matt.
Matt.
Nick's fine. No,
Matt Green's he's a bad motherfucker, man. He's a CrossFit Games level like athlete.
Yeah, no, he got I think it was 75th in the world in the CrossFit Games when he was fucking around getting ready for no gi pants. Like, I was like,
that's gross.
Wow. Yes, but his dedication, like. His work ethic is second to none. I've never seen it. Michael Chandler's the only person I've seen
watching him do his workouts on Instagram. He programmed when I did the last show. He programmed a program for me to get ready for it, and I mean it got me in probably the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah,
and just the shit that he was having me do. Like one of the days was just like, go do a 10,000 meter row. Go sit on a rower for 50. It took me 56 minutes to do it. I was like, fuck, dude.
But that's
10,000 meter row.
Wow. But like that right there. So Matt does that.
Yeah.
And then he'll go do. Like I saw one workout he did. He did 5 1-mile runs, and this fucking dude, his first mile was like, let's say 6:40. Next mile was faster.
And know that this guy's faster. 2:20 with that.
Yes. 5th mile was like close to like 6:05. Jeez. And I was like, how the fuck do you get faster?
And he's that big too.
He's big. He's a big boy.
He's like, he's like I'd say he's probably 220-ish, shredded.
And when he was a cop, I was like, oh
God.
Could you imagine like
getting chased down by him?
Yeah. Oh, he's just chomping.
It's like the Terminator, that T-1000. He's just always there.
Yeah, he's a freak, dude. And then he won Worlds. He double golded at Worlds at brown belt, right?
He's won everything. I know he's been beat before, which is weird. But the thing, like, he's that guy who got his black belt on sheer ability, right?
Yeah.
So like Nick knows all the terms, all the moves. Junior knows all the moves. Kyle, same thing. And they can do them. They've earned their spot, right? Matt probably knows 50% of what you should know, but can do everything. He's good.
It's like knowledge versus instinct.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's a freak. But yeah, dude, it was such a great event. We had a blast. Oh, and Josh's. How about that for the?
So Josh is on my shit list.
Oh yeah.
For I love him. But he is the most non-communicative person I've ever met in my life. Like, I text him, and nothing. And then I had a match set up for him against a guy named Max Hansen.
Okay.
Who is a Pedigo guy. But he does like $10,000 tournaments. Like he's like he was expensive, and I was like, and I talked to Nick and Kyle and Junior, and I'm like, if we get this match, he's like, oh, that's a big win for Josh. Josh's like, no, I'm not doing. This is gi season. Get the fuck out! God damn it, like, guys! You train gi and no gi every day.
We all train no gi and every. Yeah,
it is like a guy like Josh McKinney. You are so good. You could do either.
Yeah,
so I offered him quite a bit of money. He didn't respond. And I was like, this fucking guy. So then from then on, Junior's like, just go through me. And I was like, all right, I'll go through you. So everything went through Junior. And then it was kind of funny. His opponent this time was like heavier than they said.
Yeah.
So they agreed to do 200 pounds, and Josh is maybe 190. And yeah, and well, Gabriel, his coach said he's 207. I said, okay, cool, just be like 200 pounds, fine. And that was months ago. He texted me like Monday. He's like, hey, this is Gabriel. I do your, and this is over text, so I read it like this.
I read in Portuguese.
Yes. He's like, I do your event. He goes, I'm like 220. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, so my first thought is like, I'm the replacement. Like, I made it very clear, like, if someone drops out, I'm jumping in. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to get beat up by Josh. Like, I mean, I will.
Yeah.
But whatever.
He's beat me up before.
I've only rolled with him like once.
Really?
And he was very nice. And it was when he was a brown belt. So that's how long ago it was.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
But
yeah.
I've always told everybody, if I step in here, I'm fucking going. Like, we're going 100%. You might win.
Yeah.
But, like, it's
You're
going
gonna
to
fight me to the death to do
Yeah,
it.
it's good. Yeah, I'll tap, I promise. But, like, I was like, fuck. And then I was like, how do I get a replacement? And just thinking, right? And I said, if you could be under 210, we're good. The dude came in at 206. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, if I waited, it had to be 185. I was 185. I didn't come in under. Like, this is where I need to be.
Right there. I don't need a pound. You're not getting a pound more from me.
Yeah.
100%.
So, but no, Josh did good. Josh has an it factor, though. Right? Like, you guys saw after he won,
Dude,
the crowd was going
crowd
crazy.
lost it. Everybody
Keep in mind-
he's got such a following.
Kind of. He didn't sell a lot of tickets.
Really?
Yeah. So I unless he told people to go buy from Bryce and Ron, like, then that's fine. But you just saw that his charisma, he has like an it factor. And when we first did these, I told him personally, I said, I want to make you a star as best I can. If I can help get you to the next level, I will. So we want to take him to like North Carolina, Florida, Texas, all these other places, even Japan. He'll fit in over there. He's, he kind of looks like, but like I said, just don't get lost in the crowd, please. I can't find you.
He's a little bit more tan than the average Asian human being.
Yes. But I want to, like, for Josh, I want to do that for him. He's young enough to do it. Kyle's a little bit too old.
Sure.
Kyle doesn't care either.
No.
Kyle's competition.
Well, Kyle's had his,
Kyle's
he's
sensei
had
at this
his
point.
time in the,
Nick's over it. Nick doesn't want to ever do it. Junior, I'd love to get him on, but like Josh is, I think he's like what, 30, 31?
No, he's
30.
younger than me. Yeah, he's like 30.
We're both 31, so he's
I
gonna
think
be
he
like,
said he was 30.
Yeah,
when
I
he
think he's
was
30.
on.
He's a year
I think he's
younger
like
than me.
right there.
Yeah.
But that's young enough. He's got another 6-7 years to where he could actually be
Sure,
something big.
100%. Yeah.
Now, I think the problem is where is he train at, right?
Right.
You got to get guys that are better than you to make you better.
Yeah.
Right? Not that he's not going to get better but he's trained with Kyle for 15 years.
Right.
Trained with his dad for that, forever.
he knows their skill set. He's prepared for it by now.
Yeah. So I offered, hey man, I'll send you out to California. I'll pay for it. Like as a CXBJJ sponsored athlete, I'll send you out there for 2 weeks if I can, or whatever we can afford, right?
Sure.
Go out there and just get the best you can.
Yeah.
And
Train at one of
undoubtedly
those West Coast gyms that are huge.
yeah, or Florida or
Austin,
wherever.
yeah.
But go there, train, and you're going to bring some shit back.
Yeah.
And then just make it better. You'll get better. And that's what I want.
I was going to say one of the things, because we just got done reading Tim Grover's book, Winning, is like there's 3 levels of competitors. There's the cooler, there's the closer, and there's the cleaner. And just like the way he goes in and handles business is like the dude is a cleaner. And I snapped some really good candids of him during the win, just like with his hands up. And just, you can tell that like he's got that vicious, that dog in him. And not a lot of guys have that.
Yeah, so Josh is a goofball.
Absolutely.
So Josh came on the scene really because everybody started noticing him because he'd be in the middle of a tournament. He'd be like, "Oh, cameraman," and he would.
He's got that showmanship.
For
yeah,
sure.
he would pose for the camera, and that's just one of those weird things that people don't really notice, right?
Right.
But he does, and then he has charisma. If you've ever talked to him, he's a kind of a goofy character, but he's very nice, awesome dude, and I would love to push him as far as I can. But fucking talk to me. Like, God damn it.
God, dude, just the way he won. I mean, it was a spectacular fashion. I mean, the whole fucking place erupted. That was
awesome.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, we were all losing.
I mean,
It
what
was
percentage of the crowd do you think was tag team?
Cool. I mean,
Not that
75.
many.
Really?
Not that many. No, I promise you. Like, I would have to go through and break it down. But the number one ticket seller was a guy from Parabellum. which is out in Waynesville. That was Frank Rodriguez. And then the next was, I think, Scarlett, that 15-year-old girl.
Really?
Yeah, there were not like when Kyle was here, he sold like 60 tickets.
Okay.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Devin Parada sold like 57, so that was a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any of those this time, and we still sold it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
It's impressive.
yeah, but I had to change things up. So like the last time we were a little too crammed, and so this is probably not the best business model, but I eliminated a row of $100 seats so that we can have a better. So if you go, you're gonna have a better viewing experience, and I got to fine tune it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to make things. If you go to the event, you're gonna be like, okay, this was a great event. Not like, oh, it was cool, but my seat sucked or something like that, right?
Well, that's the thing, because we were in different spots, and everywhere we
Yeah,
were at,
we were up at our seat for a while, and then we
yeah.
went down to get a beer, and then
I always had great
another
vantage.
fight started, and
it
we're like
helps being
just
taller
ended
than
up standing there for a while.
Well,
and,
those
you know.
balcony seats are $65 a piece, and it's you're far away from the bathroom and the bar, but they're the best seat.
The
in the
best
house,
seats
I think.
to see, yeah.
And then we got those boxes that are private boxes. I get those catered with food. I just had a meeting yesterday with the guy who owns a place. Now I can have it. They're gonna have their own private bartender,
Ooh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
that'd be sweet.
but drinks are included.
Ooh,
So
okay.
so the price tag goes up, but
Right.
Sure.
I'm gonna be paying for it to where, you'll have your own bartender for those boxes. I get it catered by Johnny's Hideout, and
Nice.
the one agreement we had was I can have food there, but he doesn't want messy shit. So the two boxes I picked, like chicken strips, toaster raviolis, pretzel bites,
Yeah.
Oh, so on the way out.
Yeah.
shitty food. And then the other one, the owner of Johnny's, he picked whatever he wanted. I don't even know what he got, but they have a little menu. I could get sliders. I could get all sorts of shit, really. And if you bought the box, I give you the menu. I say, hey, what do you want?
Boom.
And here's where we go. So include that with like a bartender.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could sell those tickets for $220, $230 a piece.
There could be Hennessy at that bar.
Yeah.
It's Hennessy at the bar.
Oh, man. We're going to sponsor again next year. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
So I'm looking to improve those boxes up there. Then you got those seats, and then the stage seating's pretty good. I don't like that you have to walk kind of back behind where like the production guys are. I just don't want anybody kicking
Wires and shit.
Yeah. But really, I do the best I can with what I got, and I think it works out.
Dude, it works
That
out.
was
I mean, it's
great.
the third time I've been there for it, and it's gotten better and better each time, I think. So, yeah. So now, I mean, obviously you came up fighting, and I definitely want to get into some of that stuff, but how'd you get into this? How'd you get into promoting?
So when I retired from fighting, I was like, I openly went and saw a therapist because at the time I was like the main event for everything. So, and we can get into fight stuff, but starting off as an amateur, I sold a fuck ton of tickets to go.
Did you grow up around here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Imperial. So I sold a fuck ton of tickets, and that just translated to like, okay, well, obviously the biggest ticket mover goes to the end of the card.
Yeah.
So I started main eventing everything as an amateur. And whether it was never kickboxing, always for MMA. So I had probably, we'll just talk about the fight shit. So I started off kickboxing. I had probably 170 kickboxing matches.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
But back then,
When did you start? How old were you?
20.
Okay.
So I hate these guys who are called unsanctioned fights. I think about it. I had a fuck ton of unsanctioned fights because it was like the sanctioning body was either ISKA, IKF, or Shamrock.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff didn't count, I guess. None of it really counts in theory. It's all amateur stuff. But no, I fought in St. Louis, Kansas City, Iowa. I just kind of like the Midwest, just kind of kept going. And I would fight 4 times in a month. Like every weekend, I was like going somewhere to fight. And it was fine. Then I went into boxing, won Golden Gloves a couple times, and then did pro kickboxing or amateur MMA, and then did pro kickboxing, and then pro MMA. And then we can dive into all that nonsense too. But after that, you being the main event, you're like the big deal, right?
Yeah.
And you walk into a room, people are like, oh shit, there's that.
Adam Cella.
Yeah, and like I thought that was cool. I didn't like fighting. I liked all the shit that came with it.
Right.
And then before I was married, obviously I have to say that the women.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the first night of The Ultimate Fighter that aired, I had my inbox was like full of like one hot chick after the next hot chick. Oh, hey, and like
Saw you on TV.
yeah. And it was like, oh shit, okay. And then obviously I'm married now. I've been married for a while. After that, I was like, how do you cope? Right? How do you go from being this cool dude to like, and I retired because my daughter was being born, to being dad, right? Mm-hmm. Now I do have a stepson who I've been with my wife Jenny for almost 10 years now. And, so I was a dad, but it's a little bit different. Right? So, but that was like the cool shit. But then when I retired, we just get back to the point. I started seeing a therapist, and I was like, "How do I cope with almost normal life? Right? How do I do this?" Yeah, and it was all good. And then I've always commentated fights, whether it's for Shamrock, NFA. When I retired for NFA, they wanted me on as their commentator, and I said, "Cool. I love Brad and Marlene. They're the greatest. They're truly some of the nicest people you ever meet. If you guys ever like."
This is Nemesis?
Yes, yeah. And Nemesis Fighting Alliance. So they, if I call Brad right now and said, "Hey, can I borrow your truck?" Yep, sure, no big deal. Like, it's right there. He's just a good dude. Brad Carey.
Yeah, I know Brad.
Yeah, real estate guy.
Yeah, and my business partner works with him.
Yep. So, but I commentated for them, and then I commentated Ben Nogueras, who's my old partner in Kansas City. He was like, him and Enrique were like, "Hey, will you commentate our jiu-jitsu?" I'm like, "I don't know shit about jiu-jitsu, but I could talk shit. Yeah. No problem." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Cool." So I went up to Kansas City, and I was like, "This is awesome." I said, "We need to bring this to St. Louis." And if you guys have ever
had... This was CXBJJ?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was up there. It was CXBJJ Blue Corner.
Got it.
And if you guys have ever had an idea where you were like, "This just needs to happen. I just feel like it's going to work." This was that idea for me. So right away, I put the wheels in motion. I came back that weekend. I just started setting it up. Now, Kevin Smith, who's at Revive, him and I were talking. He does like event coordinating. He helped me find Red Flag. He gave me a list of places. That was the first place I looked. I was like, "I'm sold." He met me there. He helped me a ton, dude, a ton. And but that was kind of how we transitioned to it. Was I went to an event. I thought it was pretty badass. And, as far as like just bouncing around a little bit, the therapy thing, she was like, "You need to find another purpose of like what you want to do. And is dad going to be okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay being dad, but I wanted more," right? Like I've never been a normal 9 to 5. I've never been a normal, like, I'm okay, let's go to soccer practice. Like, yeah. It's like, if you guys train, it's like I go to work and then I go train. Like that for so many years, every day I got off work at 3. By 3:30, I was at the gym playing punch face with my best friends. Like that was just what we did. And then
punch face.
Yeah, but now it's like just jiu-jitsu shit.
Yeah.
So I found a new purpose, and it just sat right. You know what I mean? Not being a jiu-jitsu guy, being a combat sports martial arts kind of guy. I was like, this is going to be cool, right? And then business side of things, I was like, I think I can make some money doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty transparent about stuff. I do make some money. I could make way more, but I spend a lot on these shows. Like, I want them to be awesome, and they cost a lot.
No, I'm sure.
It's like just buying everything to get, like, I have a storage unit that's basically a tournament in a box. All my mats, $20,000 worth of mats. I got 8 TV, everything's in there, and I'm just like, fuck, like, if this doesn't work out, do I sell this?
Yeah, what do I do with all this shit?
Yeah. So
can make a sweet garage gym.
You could, but I don't have friends that are going to come down and want to roll. But
what's the vision that you have for it?
So I want to travel with it, right? Like, I'm going to keep my normal job. I work for my parents, but the process of trying to own a heating and cooling company with my brother and my cousin, and that's normal. That's solid. My goal is to travel the Midwest. Like, I think the next city I'm going to go to is Houston, and then I'm going to go to either Nashville or Memphis. I think Nashville is going to kind of be where it's at. I want to go to Colorado. We already do them we do tournaments and shows and pro shows in North Carolina. Enrique has another partner in Quantico, West Virginia. So, and then he does stuff with Cyborg down in Florida. So and then we were in Kansas City.
Cyborg Abreu?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Which, I could bring him up anytime I want.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So
he's a legend, man. Like,
what I want to do is bring someone big up like that, and then have a seminar on Sunday. So pro show on Saturday, seminar on Sunday. I just don't know how well that'll go over. It's a lot of jiu-jitsu in a weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
But
well, you got to think all the people that are, for like me, for instance, I went to the show. I didn't compete, but I definitely would show up to the seminar on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, so Cyborg's one option. My first option is Gilbert Burns.
Ooh,
so I've been working on Gilbert Burns to bring him up, compete. Now, he would have to compete against someone like my old coach Zach Cummings.
Okay.
Who knows? Like, hey, if I get you in a heel hook, I'm not going to try to rip your fucking leg off. You're like the number 5 ranked UFC welterweight. Like, there's a level of sportsmanship, right?
You need to have
and respect, yeah. But then do a seminar the next day. I think $100 a seminar or a person, it would be like an hour and a half or so of no gi / MMA, and then an hour and a half of gi. And Gilbert Burns is multiple time world champion.
Like, in the gi, yeah.
It'd be unreal.
Yeah, that'd be
and so
awesome.
that's kind of the goal, kind of an option. But travel to all these cities. Now my partner Enrique, who owns CXBJJ,
was he the one that was talking there towards the end?
Yeah,
there?
So he's a Marine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the two military guys.
And those two guys, Tulsa is a Marine out there in North Carolina with him, who I feel so bad for Tulsa, man. And then Frank is Enrique's black belt down in Waynesville at Parabellum. Enrique was down in Waynesville for a while, stationed whatever at Fort Leonard Wood. But Tulsa, I feel bad for him. I brought him in twice. He's got beat twice. He went with Devin last time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
And then, like, this time, I think he won in Kansas City, though. We brought him to Kansas City, he won. But with Tulsa, I brought him here. He brought his wife, Bianca, who I think she just got her black belt. Bianca, like, she's such a sweet person. They're great people. Great fucking people. But he is flying home. His flight went from St. Louis to Charlotte, maybe? I don't know. Delayed. Canceled. Next day. Delayed. And then he finally made it home around 4 o'clock on Monday p.m.
Oh,
wow. And I was like, I'm so sorry, buddy. Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh, it's okay. It happens. He's great dude. And then today I get an email that says, because I booked the flight, says, hey, Tulsa, how was your flight? So I sent it to him. I go, how do I respond? So we just kind of laughed. But it was...
Poor dude.
Yeah. So, but with Enrique, he wants to essentially franchise it out, almost how Fuji does all their stuff. But he's a lifelong martial artist. He's been a black belt for probably 10 years. I don't know. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for 24. So however long that is. But great guy, awesome dude. He's got a couple businesses like everywhere. He's one of those guys who does everything. And his goal is to never. I don't think he ever wants to sell it. He's talked to about selling like me almost the whole thing. And I'm like, bud, I got into this because I wanted to do it with my friends. Mm-hmm. And it's something cool we can do. Like I'm going to North Carolina August 10th that weekend. We have a tournament out there, but I'm going to go out a few days early. I'll put on a seminar at his gym, an MMA kickboxing seminar, and then we're going to take that money and donate it to some sort of like veterans thing out there, whatever he wants to do. But like, that's the fun shit, man, right? Like going out there, hang out with my buddy. He owns a restaurant out there. The food's killer. Like he's Peruvian, so it's like all this weird Peruvian shit. Mm. I mean, you'll have diarrhea, but it's really it's really good, I promise. And then like his restaurant's right on the water, so if it's nighttime, he'll have a band and the music awesome. The music I like is like one dude with guitar.
Yeah.
That's my jam right there. Whatever they're doing, we're good. So it's like it's just cool.
Yeah.
And trying to get my wife out there if she'll go, but we got kids.
Is that Charleston?
No, it's in Swansboro. So Swansboro, North Carolina, which is right by like Greenville, I guess is maybe the biggest city. Mm-hmm. But when you go to Swansboro, it's like that show Sweet Home Alabama when she goes back. Like everybody knows your name, not me, but like
right.
It's like, oh hey, you serve. I'm like, I'm like the minority, but not being in the military, and but like. Everything's on the water. Everybody's so nice. I walked in. I bought a can of soda from some dude's like little mom and pop shop for like 50 cents. I was like, really?
50 cents?
I was like, shit, that's cool. And so, but it's a cool place. I always said that if our kids were older and we wanted to move and we, financially okay, I would move there. Like that place is badass.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the goal, to answer your question, because I kind of beat around the bush, sorry.
It's all right.
Is I want to do these in other cities. I would love to do it to where I'm gone probably almost every other weekend. And I hate being away from my kids, but they can come, right? So when I fought, it was like, leave me alone. I got
I'm busy.
this dude's trying to fucking kill me.
Right.
But with
I gotta focus.
But like with Nathan, my son, he can help. Jenny, my wife, she can help. Mila, when she gets a little bit older, I mean, she can come. She's a good kid. She'll do whatever.
How old is she?
She's 3.
Okay.
But I have her on the mats now, and she knows ground and pound. When I say ground and pound, she runs up, tackles me, and she punched me right in the face. So
That's awesome.
And I coach a kids wrestling program, so I'm hoping that she gets on the mat with me this year.
Where do you do that at?
Down at Seckman.
Oh fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I need to get my son in there then.
Me too. I got a 4 and 5 year old.
So 5 is, I think, when we start.
Okay.
Now my daughter will be on the mats in the sense of she'll get some cute pink wrestling shoes.
Yeah.
And she'll stand there with me. Excuse me. I just want to get her on the mats, get her familiar. Like I take her to Revive, she wants to get out there. But she wants to get out there to go play with Bubby.
Sure.
Like she don't care about what we're doing. But I see how Junior, so my head coach Junior, how he was with Winter. It's like I look up to all my instructors like this. But with Junior, he had Winter on there. And
Is that his son?
his daughter?
His daughter.
When she started, she would do like a quarter of the warm up halfway, like half ass. Now I had her on the pro show, the second one that you were on.
Yeah.
She was the first match of the night, and it was like the cutest thing ever.
Oh, it was
and I was like, this is why I do this, right? Like creating memories for people.
Right.
Like your picture's right here.
Yeah.
Like you'll never forget the night you did that.
No.
We'll have you on again.
I
sold tickets.
Oh, you went no-gi on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a ticket seller.
Yeah, I was a ticket seller, so I get to come back.
He didn't even know. And I forgot to pay him. And I was like, "Hey, bro, I think I owe you $500 or something."
Yeah.
So
I was like, oh, I didn't even know I was getting paid.
a lot of people didn't. But that's the other thing is with these shows, I want everybody to get paid. Now it's not much, but it's something.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it. I was like, oh well, and then going to be a sponsor for it. I was like, oh, I'll happily, I just,
Yeah, and that's creating those relationships, right? But I want all the kids get paid, and like you start handing them, I'll pay them in like 10s or 20s, so it looks like a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I could buy roadblocks or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, that's so cool.
Magnetiles.
That was so much fun. I had a blast. It was the coolest like combat sports things I've ever done. I mean, I've done a lot of wrestling tournaments growing up, a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, but never anything like that.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool.
So, but like that's what we want to do is we want to expand, create memories for everybody, different cities, different states, see where it's going to be cool. We want to go to Vegas, Houston. The reason Houston will probably be the next city. I've got friends that my best friend lives down in Houston, so I've got feet on the ground. I think he's a purple belt. And his coach was on the second one we did, the Invitational 2. I flew him up. But they're able to help me, so I don't have to like fly down there all the time.
Yeah, you need someone there.
Yeah. So that's the goal, is to make it grow. Pro shows for sure. Tournaments will be a little bit different because how do I get all my mats, my whole shit,
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
there, right? It's like, because Enrique, when they did it in Kansas City, he drove from North Carolina to Kansas City. That's like 2 days of driving. At the time, he drove a Dodge Ram TRX. He's like, this is just like stupid. Like, this truck's not made for this. So we just got to figure it out.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so now you've gone through all the therapy. You've found your purpose now. So
part of it. Yeah, I'm always trying to grow. Right. Like I was talking to so I'm good friends with James Krause, who
one of the fighters, right?
Yeah, and we can talk. And so James is passed. James was like top 15 UFC
coaches. Yeah, I was kind of explaining the situation.
Yeah, so he if there was a UFC on, he had a fighter on it. Whether it was Contender Series, whether it was a fight night, a pay-per-view, he was at every event coaching someone. Great coach. Then I think with all the shit that went through with him, which it's not my story to tell, so I'm not gonna dabble into it. He got fucked. Mm-hmm. Like I truly, truly, truly think he got screwed. So he accepted to be on this event, this last one, and he was reluctant, right?
Sure. Well, this was kind of like probably his first thing.
This is his
in
first thing
public
back, yeah.
Since
And I had a
How
couple
long ago was whatever happened?
a year,
Yeah, it was like,
maybe a year and a half. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But I had some of the guys on the show make kind of smart ass comments, and I messaged, like Bryce was one of them. I messaged him. I'm like, hey bud, just so you know, and I erased it. I said, if James sees this, I said he is the guy that like James will get in your face and be like, you have something to say, and he will fight you right there and not give a fuck, and he probably will win.
Yeah,
because like so James grew up pretty rough, and he's a real estate guy now. He would be a great guy to have on this because
Is he
does,
local?
no, he's in
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
He does things. He's like a flipper, but he does coaching for like he's got. The thing I like about James is he is all about making money, but he will make you as much money as he can for you by helping you. Like now he sells his coaching and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's a
business.
it's a great program, and I'm gonna talk to him about it because I think it's gonna go more toward, like how to grow in life, right? Not so much as real estate and flipping houses, but how to push yourself to the next level. Like him and I were talking today, and he's like, "Yeah, man, everything was great." I was like, I just don't want to be comfortable. I want to keep pushing myself to that level of being uncomfortable, right? But talking to James, what the fuck were we even talking about? I just lost track.
Well, talking about therapy and finding your purpose, and you were
So that was ending. It was talking to James was like I want to grow it and keep being uncomfortable. It sucks. My hair is gonna fall out. I'm getting gray, but like at the end of the day, I love it. Like I've worked towards something. When I see the end product, I'm like, all right, cool. Like yesterday.
Yeah, dude, after that last, after Josh's match, it had to feel pretty fucking good.
Well, it felt good once I looked around and I had other people folding up the chairs and not me. Yeah. Seriously, because the first one, so my wife will tell you, I'm a bit of a control freak. If I don't do it, I'm afraid it's going to get done wrong. So I finally had like 3 or 4 kids folding up these chairs. And I'm like, fuck, I don't have to do that. Yeah. Now I loaded up the mats and I always help. And I'm like, God, like, all right, we're kind of getting somewhere. Like setup was easy. Breakdown was easy. It just went smoother. And I was like, okay, cool. Now let's do one more like this.
Yeah.
So it's smooth and we'll see.
Yeah. And then what's, I guess, what would be the next step going up, like getting a different venue or bigger, what's the...
I've talked to, I actually was talking to the owner of that Red Flag.
And Red Flag's great, but
So my problem is realistically, I don't think you're going to sell more tickets than that for jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You're not. Because like.
And it's almost like good to have a smaller space so it feels like fucking packed,
that's the thing. I could easily go to Chaffetz Arena.
right
And have
like
6 rows full. And I'm like, it look like shit. But.
Yeah, it's like you got to find that you got to find another venue that's just only like a little bit bigger, but it's it's got to feel that tight.
That's the thing is though, is I want the same vibe that I have.
It's like an underground fight scene.
And
what's that movie? Never Back Down.
Yeah,
and
that's what it felt like.
And when you start going bigger though, you start paying more. That's where the business thing is.
Paying fighters. I mean, all these. Other things,
and I don't want to take any of that away. I want to keep it where it's at. So, I'm going to stay at Red Flag until I feel like I need to move.
Yeah.
Whether that's this year, next year, I don't know. But I've looked at other places. One place I looked at, I just don't think the bar setup is going to be good as a good viewing experience because I also don't want to sacrifice quality for more tickets.
Sure.
That's never good.
Yeah, that's true. So are you trying to do these? I guess you've been on it's been one a year for like the last.
So I want to do 2 a year. I want to do two tournaments, 2 pro shows a year in St. Louis.
Cool.
Now, if you think about it, dude, so 4 events here in St. Louis. If we go to Houston, we do 2 in Houston, 2 in Vegas, 2 in Nashville.
Yeah.
Go out to Denver, go to Iowa. Those are kind of the cities I want to hit now. It's busy. A lot of moving parts. But if we do these pro shows, we take Josh McKinney or a dude who really impressed me was Stephen Carlisle. He went with so he's a brown belt from Gracie Humida. He went with a black belt from Kansas City. he fucked him up.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I remember that match.
Now, I will say this: Paul, the black belt, was one of James Krause's black belts. Paul is really good, but Paul is like in his 40s. Steven is maybe early 30s, maybe, but he's a brown belt. So it was like kind of like a give and take, right?
Yeah, age for experience.
Yeah, but Steven was all over him. And I messaged Steven privately, and I was like, buddy, I think I was impressed with you most.
Damn.
And like, he gets his black belt, take him out, just like Josh McKinney. You start pimping him out.
Really. I was literally about to say pimping him out.
You pimp them out, and it builds their name. And then who's to say that someone like Josh McKinney or Stephen Carlisle don't get like the right eyes on him? They're like, hey, we want this guy on this. And then next thing you know, they're on Fight Pass.
And they're on Who's Number One or something like that.
And Fight Pass tried to buy CXBJJ stuff, and told them no. Yeah. Because they want to own everything, and not that that's a bad thing, because it all like, if you want money in the pocket, it's a great business. But like, we're kind of looking at stuff a little bit different.
Yeah, no, you want to own it, man. I feel like that's at least that's the way I look at everything. It's like you want to keep that money in your pocket,
Yeah, for sure.
And what's the CX stand for?
Combate Extreme.
Okay.
Right. So the Enrique, he had CX MMA. He used to put on fights down in Waynesville. Down in that area, and that was what they did. That was his MMA gym as well. And it's funny because the first one we did, I had a combat jiu-jitsu match. He's like, dude, the name is Combat. We've never had one. I'm like, well, here we go. Turns out it was real shitty. It was Court and Court Wall and this guy Alex McGowan from Kansas City. They had fought before as amateurs,
like MMA.
Yeah, and Alex won. But like with combat jiu-jitsu, you're supposed to hit the shit out of the person. These guys were like.
Yeah, he like had his back, and he was like,
yeah, it was like some weird sex thing. I was like, I was like, this is not working out.
It's supposed to be palm strikes.
Yeah, I'm like, beat the shit out of this guy. I mean, I guess we did it, but
because that was the only. Is that the only combat match you've had, or like on there?
Yeah.
That was the only one I've ever seen in person. It's
it was not that cool. It was
terrible. I remember I've seen
not
a couple
what you're
of those.
hoping it to be.
I've seen a couple of those in the gym before, and those are always entertaining to watch for sure.
Yeah,
guys slapping the shit out of each other.
I did one with Matt Green.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, he's still sleeping.
Yeah,
he can't. Hey, he's not here to defend himself. Fuck, he's gonna kill me.
No, he's
I will say this though, Matt Green is as people are scared to go with him at our gym.
Dude, he's a great training partner. I've rolled with him many times.
So
he
the
could
thing
kill
is,
me at any point.
Yes. So the thing is, like I told you guys about my neck and my shoulder before I had the surgeries. I was like, hey, I gotta have surgery. Like, so I'm gonna go with you. And he was like, cool. Never hurt me. Really? Never once. The intensity is still at 100. Never once did he hurt me. Never once did he accidentally come close to trying. Fucking phenomenal training partner.
Right. I feel like a lot of catch and release, kind of.
Not even catching. He worked. I guess he's so goddamn good. He just did everything. Didn't have to touch these two things.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, you get guys that you're training with that are at that level. I mean, the control and everything that they have over their movements and everything. I'm sure they probably make for great training partners.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because they know exactly what they can and can't do.
Speaking of Connor, so
shout out Goldstein.
Not a good training partner.
So Connor's a little bit wild. He's gotten better.
Yeah,
him and I had a talk it was probably a month ago. He's like, I gotta start using more technique and not so much explosion and just rah. And
no way.
I'm like, yeah. But I've never had a problem. Everybody likes Connor. But he is a little bit wild sometimes, but he is strong as fuck.
He's very strong.
Like, I mean, you look at him, there's bodybuilders that aren't strong.
Right.
He's functionally strong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can see him. He's got videos out there of him deadlifting 500 for reps.
But that's not functional to me, right? That's like, okay, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm gonna get big. Connor actually has functional strength where he grabs you and it's like, okay, you're moving me. This okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a good dude. He's just wild sometimes, though.
I still look at him in those
aspects
deadlifting videos. Though I'm like, you're not using a belt, dog. Like,
no belt.
Fuck is
narrow as fuck stance.
And he'll be like, man, I haven't deadlifted in forever. I'm gonna give it a shot. And he just walks up and does 500 pounds. I'm like, fuck.
I stopped deadlifting years ago. Yeah, I will not do it anymore.
I never started.
Good for you.
No, I did it for one fight, and
so you didn't do any strength and conditioning? Like
I did a couple times. what's 3 plates on each side? Is that 315?
315.
So I did 315 for 10, and then we put another plate, was 405.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right when I did it, my back started to bend. I dropped it. I go,
You felt that, huh?
I go, hey, don't need to lift that. This guy's 185. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
This guy's 185.
And my trainer at the time, we were like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
It was
But,
either Joe Rogan or Mark Bell's Power Project. There was some dude who used to be a power lifter on there. He goes, as far as like the risk reward of deadlifting, he goes, we won't do it for athletic training. He goes, there's nothing about deadlifting that actually transitions over into any of these kind of sports. Because if you want to do clean and jerks, you want to do snatches, the risk reward is a lot lower and the explosiveness is a lot higher.
Makes sense.
I mean, I pulled 405 just for the gram. And like, dude, I used to power lift. You know, I've had a 515, and I'm not saying I'm the strongest dude in the world, but I started noticing like how I felt and how my posture started going. I'm like, yeah, I'm not stepping onto a platform to fucking deadlift or power lift ever, so I'm done with this shit.
See, I think it's all so someone told me a long time ago, what do you want to look like? Like Michael Johnson was that sprinter, right? Like, you want to look like him? Do what he does.
Yeah.
Like he sprints, he does explosive stuff. Like I fight. I did. I'm not trying to like curl 300 pounds. Like I don't give a shit about that. I just need to be able to pull my arm out of stuff. And when I used to train with Wes Richards, and we did so when I was before
I want to look like Wes. Is what I want to look like.
maybe a little bit taller.
What? Me and Wes are the same height.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little taller.
Stay where you're at. Stay where you're at. But Wes and I, so when I was getting ready to leave for the Ultimate Fighter, he was my strength training coach, right? We used to do things where I was like, I had a kettlebell, and it's not like a row. We're jerking it. Like, okay, you got an arm bar, pull it out. Like, but it was like we were turning, so the elbow's not down, turning, pull, right? And it was physically, not appearance wise, but like physically, I was in great functional strength, right? But my diet was shit. I always just did like low carb stuff. I just
I agree.
never knew like kind of what to do. So I was always in shape, but I kind of was never like, I never had muscles. There's one time I had muscles and I was doing everything like correctly. I was playing softball one time and my brother's on my team. He goes, and I sleeveless shirt and he goes, dude, fucking, and I was like, yeah, you like that? But like, it was for a fight. And I was like, I don't want to keep up with this.
No.
Like, I mean, you look cool because you're naked. You got some abs.
Yeah.
But like, this shit's not fun. No. Like, I'd much rather go to stacked.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, that's one of those things in jiu-jitsu, fighting, and everything. It's like you cannot judge a book by the cover. You can't just look at this dude who's shredded and 3% body fat and just assume that he's going to be a great fighter.
Well, Kevin Smith's match, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, perfect example.
Kevin is 170 pounds, maybe soaking wet. I'm 235. He is one of the hardest rolls for me in the gym. Now he's technically much better than me. He's always been better than me. But that dude, like, have you ever rolled with Kevin?
Yeah.
So he is, like, just so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And, like, the dude he went with was...
jacked.
That was a big boy.
Watching their arms next to each other when, like, collar ties.
His calves were scary,
And
dog.
I
just
saw
his
him,
lower
and I was
half as a whole was massive.
Well, and he took that match on, like 3 days notice.
Really?
Yeah.
pulled a bulk.
The guy he was supposed to go with backed out, but the dude he was going to go with never once like advertised that he was competing. I was like, and I told Kevin, I go, I think there's something up. I go, be prepared. I was like, he might go with me. Yeah. Again, I'm the backup. But no, Kevin's. It was one of those where I felt bad. I was like, fuck. I go, Kevin, this dude's pretty big.
Kevin didn't care.
Did they weigh? Like, what was there?
They weighed the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 170.
No way.
Yeah,
That guy was 170.
I think he cut a lot of weight because he wanted to get on the scale. And with these events, I don't want anybody to cut weight.
Yeah, you remember
Like
that.
my big thing is like, if you tell me you're 170, I'll match you up with someone who's going to be within 10 pounds. They might be 160, they might be 180, within 10 pounds. And for so far, knock on wood, it's worked out well. I hate cutting weight. I don't want anybody to have to cut weight. If you're 220 pounds, just be 220. I'll find a guy who's like 225, 230.
Don't need to get down to like 180 or anything.
Yeah, no, like unless you want to for like an IBJJF or something that's coming up. Like, oh, I'll use this pro fight
as a yeah.
Yeah, I say fight. It's not even a fucking fight. It's a match. I use this pro match as a way to get ready for IBJJF to win, get these points, whatever else you want to do. So, but yeah, no, I don't do the weight cut thing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I can't believe it because that dude was 170. I'm like barely under 180, and it's just like, where the fuck does all that muscle weigh, dog?
Look, I've always looked heavier. I'm sorry, I've always looked lighter than I am. Yeah. So I think there's like a dense bone thing.
There's a thing, yeah.
I think there's like a real thing because like even when I was in like fight shape, I'd be like 220. I fought at 85. They're like, what are you, like 190, 195? I'm like, no, dude, I'm like 220, 225. They're like, no.
Yeah, like even when I did that match, all my buddies were like, dude, that guy was huge compared to you. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I think we both weighed like 170 or whatever.
I can't remember who you went with.
He was a last-minute replacement.
From Kansas City.
Yeah.
Was it Cade?
Black dude.
Oh, no, you went with Jay Denny.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty boring match. We're just trying to take each other down the whole time. Neither of us wanted to play bottom.
I heard you like being on bottom.
Yeah. Power bottom.
Hey, I told you we got here. Pitching or catching, just put me in the game.
Yeah.
It's all love either way, baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, so speaking of matches and all that, let's talk about your career and everything that you said. You started off with kickboxing, and then boxing, and then MMA. Out of all that, what was your favorite?
Honestly, MMA, because that was where all the success was.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest. But my love will always be kickboxing because that's what got me into it. That's probably what I'm best at. And in real life, that's probably the most effective real life skill. You know, so because if we're going to get into a fight and you start butt scooting at me,
I'll just kick you.
yes, sock the kick to the face. And but no, MMA was the they're all different, right? So like my first title was in kickboxing, but I won Golden Gloves twice the same year.
How do you win Golden Gloves? What is that?
So it's a tournament.
It's a tournament.
So
okay.
Golden Gloves is a tournament, and it's what's cool about it is like it's old school, right? So what I did was I won Golden Gloves twice in the same year, 2 different weight classes, 2 different divisions. They have novice, they have open. Novice is like brand new. Open is like you'll fight Olympic guys, like whoever. It doesn't matter amount of fights. So I won it both in the same year, 2 different weight classes, and then I got the Outstanding Boxer Award. But what was cool is like it was prestigious, right? And when I won, the Open was at South Broadway Athletic Club. That's where I saw my first fight ever. Cool. So it was kind of like historic, right?
Sure.
But I was at the VFW Hall, my grandpa's, when he was still alive, and I was talking to this old guy, and I was like, yeah, and my grandpa was like, oh yeah, he won Golden Glove, blah, 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 blah. This guy's like, yeah, so did I. Look, he still wore the ring they gave him.
Really?
Right? From like the 40s.
Right.
I got some shitty fucking trophy. Like this dude's got this badass like a Jocelyn's like class ring.
Yeah.
I remember my dad telling me about it because he had family members that would fight in gold. No one ever won it, but like they'd give like gold glove necklaces or rings, like you were saying, like, and people wore that with pride.
Yes,
it
used to be so much cooler than when I did it. Although to me it was cool.
Right, it's still.
But I will also say this: like back then, those guys had 12 matches. I had like 3 or 4. Like you know what I mean? It was like it was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was what was cool about Golden Gloves, and then MMA was cool because like nobody did it. Like if you, he's this fighter. Oh my god.
Yeah. Because when did you get into MMA? Or when?
2000, maybe 2010.
Yeah, so it wasn't. I mean, it was popular, but not as popular as it is now.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, I feel like
now
in the
it's a
last 10
mainstream
years,
sport.
It's fucking it's blown up.
Yeah, it's a mainstream sport at this point. But MMA was cool. My first MMA fight, I'll never forget. I came out to Boy George. Do you really want to hurt me? And the dude looked like Jerome Bettis, right? And I was like some little chubby white kid. I was like, hi. Like, you know what I mean? But I have a picture after I won. My mom, it was in a ring. I was leaning over the top rope giving her a kiss. I have it in my living room. It's just like those memories or what it was badass, but probably MMA because it was just so much cooler shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome.
And what's one of your favorite memories from MMA?
So, man, there's a lot of them, but like as far as like a fight goes, was the fight to get in the Ultimate Fighter house.
Yeah, let's talk. I want to hear about the Ultimate Fighter and kind of some of the stuff you did there.
So getting in, that was one of those wins where, okay, let's just start from the beginning. With the Ultimate Fighter, the process is you fill out an application and you go to the tryouts. It's a tryout. We have 500 guys in the room. They were doing 205 and 185. I had a fight like 2 weeks later scheduled, so I was 192 pounds, and I was like in great shape. And the first thing you do is a grappling session. They break you up into a couple groups. I went in to grapple. I grappled some Iowa corn-fed wrestler who fucking ragdolled me. And I was like, well, that was a good trip. I made it through. He got cut. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, cool. But I had also given them my bio, which was like a lot of stand-up kickboxing credentials. And I gave him a highlight video that someone made for me. I was like, hey, if you guys want to check this out, like, it's cool. But I was only 3-0 at the time, which was the minimum of a record you could have, three fights. So the next one, so I make it through the next stage. I'm like, okay, cool. The next phase is hitting pads. And now I do heating and cooling for a living. I had broke my hand right here on the top part here. I hit my hand with a hammer.
Oh, boy.
I was trying to chisel something. So it just cracked right here. So, like, I had this huge calcium, like, bump here. And I was like, well, fuck. So I wrap my hands, and I start taping it. And I start shadow boxing, right? Like, and Joe Silva, who is a UFC matchmaker, he comes up. He goes, hey, man, you're through. He's like, you're good. I'm like, oh, fuck, thank God, Jesus. Like, he was like, we can see that you clearly know what you're good.
Yeah.
So the next step, and this they make another round of cuts.
So this is like weeks, or is this?
Nope.
Oh, it's
One
like
day.
One day.
One day.
Okay.
So, and then the next phase is an interview. Now, Justin Lawrence is a guy from 21st Century who's on The Ultimate Fighter season 15. I was trying out for season 17. I asked him, I'm like, hey man, is there any tips you can give me? And he's like, you have a personality. Turn it up a little bit, but be yourself. He's like, they're gonna love you. He's like, you got to keep them talking. So I had that in my head. When we went in there, the producer was like, I wore a Cardinals shirt, trying to be St. Louis guy. He's like, so you're 190 pounds, trying out for 185. You're kind of small. I'm like, yeah, I said, this doesn't really work out. I'm going to go fight somebody in a couple weeks. So either way, I'm fine. And the guy, he didn't like that. And then he's like, talking about power bottoms. Yeah. I swear on my daughter, this is what happened. He goes, you look kind of gay. You don't really look tough. He goes, how gay are you? I was like, no, he goes, you look kind of gay. I was like, yeah, I get that. And he goes, how gay are you? I was like, like I wanted 10. I'm like a 5. And he goes, fucking wait a second. He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, judging by the way I look, you can see that I care about my appearance. I go, but I just don't really want to be on the bottom of anyone like that. I said, I want to be a power bottom. And he goes, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, you asked, so this is what you get. And then the whole place started laughing. And then in my head, Justin Lawrence, like, keep him talking. So I was like, but how can I not look tough? I have tattoos. Knowing that they're going to ask about my tattoos, like, it was like a thing, right? Yeah. And right here, you guys can't see it, but there's a name right here. That was a daughter that I had. I raised her for about 2 years, found out she wasn't mine. So I was like, and like I get goosebumps thinking about it. And I was like, they're going to ask about that. I'm going to fucking yank on their heartstrings because it's a true story. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to keep going. So I had all the girls in there almost crying when I was telling them the story. And I said, but I'm over that now. And then the guy was like, okay, well, what about if Michael Bisping walked in here? Think you could beat him up? I go, motherfucker's around the corner. I know he is. Like, this is one of those punk things, right?
That one eye's looking at you.
Yeah, no, but this was before the one eye.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And I was like, I'd probably fuck him up. And I was like, is he here? Like, no. So it was about 15 minutes of talking. I walk out, and everybody in the room's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Because like people were going for like 2 minutes and out, 3 minutes and out. And then there's a couple guys. So do you guys know who Derek Brunson is? Yeah. So Derek Brunson, top
blonde
middleweight.
Derek Brunson?
Yes.
Or was he
not blonde.
He wasn't blonde at the time?
He was under contract with Strikeforce at the time. He walked in, said hi, walked out. He was picked to win the show. They were like, oh, he's the guy. And then there's a couple other dudes. This guy Josh Saman, who ended up being on my team on the show. He went in and they wanted him real bad. So he walked in, kind of walked out. But I was in there for a long time and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I'm just having conversations.
Just chatting.
Mm-hmm. And then I made the final cut. And I assume all of you guys have seen me get kicked by Uriah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in a professional kickboxing league with him.
Oh, really?
So him and I made it to the room, and I was like, dude, hey, it's good to see you. As blah, blah, blah. And I remember I called my dad, like I'm getting goosebumps. I called my dad. I go, hey man, I got good news and bad news. He's like, I said, I got some bad news. And he's like, what? I go, I got to take off the next week of work. He's like, oh fuck, did you get hurt? I was like, oh no, they're keeping me here for medical because I fucking made it. So I had to stay there. Like, look, you see
Yeah.
that? You see it? I'm like, he's like, he tells my mom, he's like, Chris, he made it. I go, hey, don't tell no one. He goes, shh, don't tell no one. I go, hey, you fucking idiots. You're just in your house. You're not like on the news. So
Want the neighbors to hear.
Exactly. So, so I stayed for the next like 4 or 5 days for medicals, and I almost got cut because I had contacts at the time. And in Nevada, you cannot fight with glasses or contacts on. Obviously, no glasses, but I had to take them out, and I failed an eye test. And I was like, hey, you're the doctor, but I have contacts because I can't fucking see. Like, of course I failed the eye test. So the doctor helped me kind of pass it a little bit. And he's like, I suggest you go do this. And I got on, and one of my sponsors was actually an optometrist. An ophthalmologist. So I called him, I'm like, hey, Dr. Brent Davidson, great eye doctor, go see him. Anyways, he's at Envision Eye Plus, something like that. But I called him. He's like, hey, what's up? I go, hey, look, I got to tell you something secret. I'm trying out for the Ultimate Fighter right now, and I've made it. He's like, what? I'm like, shh. Don't tell no one. I said, but here's the deal, is I need to get PRK surgery like
ASAP.
Like tomorrow. And he's like, whew. So we kind of fudged the numbers on the paper, like, oh yeah, I've not had my glasses on, or contacts I haven't had my contacts in for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. I got back right away, had eye surgery. And like, have you guys had laser surgery or anything?
I did. Yeah.
So are your eyes, did you have LASIK?
Yeah.
Okay, so LASIK, they cut
Different than PRK.
Yeah.
I looked into getting PRK too, but they said since I just do jiu-jitsu, I'd be fine.
I got punched in the face, so they didn't want me to have a flap.
Right.
So afterwards, your eyes are really sensitive for PRK. I don't know about LASIK.
Dude, I was fine the next day. I trained 2 days later.
So,
but yeah,
well,
different for your story.
I got to one up Mr. Zach.
Yeah.
So like 3 days after that, I'm sparring full on with
playing punch face.
Yes, but I was like, I have to, right? Like I was like, but I got the headgear with the bar on the front. But I had a good camp going into it. Went there, and then they do random matchups. I don't know who I'm fighting, and I get there, and this guy named was Jay Kuhn. He was trying out for 205. He was a linebacker for Hawaii University or State of Hawaii, whatever it is. Big fucking guy. And I'm like, oh man, he's like huge. Like, and at the time though, we were getting ready to weigh in. He was super sucked in. I was like, okay. But we were friends at the tryouts. And sure enough, they draw my name and his name. And I'm like, fuck, the one guy I liked. And like, okay, here we go. So I end up armbarring him and not being a jiu-jitsu guy.
I was going to say, yeah.
So what's crazy is like we're in the back and we're all getting ready. And this is one of the only times I've ever been nervous for a fight. It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah. It was your first fight on The Ultimate Fighter.
But what was big was like Frank Mir's back there.
Who were your coaches?
My coaches were John Jones, Frank Mir, Bubba Jenkins.
Jesus.
A guy named Stonehorse, who was John's Muay Thai coach, first Muay Thai coach. But at this time, you were just in a random locker room, and I happened to get Frank Mir, and I said, hey, man, I want to say, hey, I'm like a huge fan. And he was like one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Yeah.
I go, but listen, I don't really know how to do jiu-jitsu, so if you could help me and make sure you corner me and just yell some shit, I'll listen, I promise. I'm like a video game. He's like, cool, got you. And Frank's very arrogant and kind of cocky. So we we go out there, and we end up on the ground. I armbar the guy, pop his arm, and Frank didn't say a fucking word to me the whole time. He goes, I thought I had to help you. I go, I think I got it. So we when it was time to pick teams, now we know John Jones, Chelsea, and other coaches. Yeah. I'm like, I want to be on John Jones' team just because it's fucking John Jones. Mm-hmm. So I get on John's team. It's John, Stonehorse, Bubba Jenkins, a guy named Ricky Lundell, Frank Mir. Ricky Lundell is Frank Mir's grappling coach. Ricky, I think I'd have to look at it again, but I think he's the only guy who ever got a Penn State scholarship with never wrestling in his life.
Oh wow!
Because of how good of a grappler he is. Wow. He was like he's probably the best athlete I've ever met in my life. Better than Matt Green, athletic wise. The dude could do anything. But Bubba Jenkins is like, he's a wrestler, and he wrestled at Penn State, and then I think he probably partied too much, got kicked off the team, went to Arizona, I think, only, and he picked Arizona because he knew he could go wrestle Penn State guys and beat them, won national championships there. It was like the weirdest shit. And then obviously Frank Mir is Frank Mir, and then John Jones is who
John
he is.
Jones.
Yes, and so, but that was a cool experience. And then obviously got kicked in the face. We can skip through that.
Is that the next fight?
Yeah.
No, it was the second fight of the week. So it was my next fight, but the first fight of the week was Gilbert and this guy Luke, and then nobody wanted to fight Uriah. They were all scared, and I'm like, I'll do it. I'm like, that's my best avenue of winning.
Yeah, kickboxing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And people are like, man, you were winning it was a first round. They're like, man, you were winning that round. I go, I don't think I was. Like being very neutral, I watched it and I was like, I would have given it to him. But he did a good job. Kicked me in the face. It happens. I've seen him do that to 15 other people. Like it is what it is. But it was cool.
Yeah.
Did you get to party with John Jones?
No. So just to jump back to jiu-jitsu, John came in one morning practice. We got done practicing. He threw down like $3,500 on the table and goes, winner takes all. I was like, bet.
Yeah.
Now, I'd already been knocked out of the tournament and all this stuff. So at this point, I'm just a cast
hanging,
member,
yeah.
just a fucking having
Training
a good time.
partner. Yeah.
And it's also on YouTube, so we can look at this. So me and John square up. And this guy shoots in, and I snatch up a guillotine, and I'm like, no.
It's not that easy.
So I'm not squeezing because I don't know how hard we're going, right? And then I hear I'm like, I'm just not letting this I'm not letting it go. Like, why would I?
Yeah.
So I end up tapping him out, and like you'll never find anybody but me tapping John Jones on video. Right? I'm sure it's happened.
Please send me this video link.
Yeah.
I will send it. But it was and he made it funny. Like he tapped, and I think he tried to get out of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wasn't squeezing, and then like one of the other guys goes, "Hey coach, a real G don't tap till he sees the light." And I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna try to get it." I was like,
Yeah.
just slowly going. I was like, okay. And then he was stuck. He tapped and then he ran off the mat like he flails his arms. He did this little baby thing. It was funny.
Yeah.
He turned it into a good moment. But I didn't get the money because we couldn't have cash on the show.
Oh.
So in theory, he still owes me like $3,000, $4,000, whatever was there.
You hear that, John Jones?
Yeah, John. Come on.
Come on.
This is going to be real.
I actually messaged him. I was going to try to grapple him on this show. I actually messaged him. No response, but
You're the one guy who's
I said, hey, you got one chance for redemption,
Yeah.
babe. That's it.
You got to just take a picture of $3,500 on that table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was, I mean, there's a lot of cool shit happened on the show.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm sure there's just like a lot of. I mean, what was like the house like living? Being at the house with all those guys.
The house was cool. So season 16 was that idiot Julian Lane who was like, "You gotta let me bang, bro."
Yeah.
So it can
let
only
me bang,
fucking go
bro.
up from there. Yeah, he was an asshole. Which side note, I tried to fight him in bare knuckle fighting after that. Never happened. But I was just like, fuck it. I don't like the guy. He's weird. But the house was badass. It was a Las Vegas house that had an indoor pool in the basement. So you guys being real estate.
Mm-hmm.
The pool was drained. It had an indoor pool and like a dance studio in the basement. So it was a fucking shack, right?
Yeah.
real little house. And but the house was cool. The guys were cool. We all got along. It was zero drama as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what they needed because the season before was a bunch of fucking idiots. And we were all serious, but like all friends and like it was a good mix.
And how long are you there for?
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
I was gonna say you get a bunch of fighters in a house that could be.
Well, the hardest part of everything was trying to figure out where you could jerk off without cameras.
So I appreciate the objectivity. In that.
Because you think, oh, the shower. No, it's like one of those. It like you see your head, you see your feet,
Yeah.
and the glass wall is like it's just like
Frosted.
I'm like you definitely.
You got a silhouette that's having fun.
I'm just washing my
somewhere.
thighs, guys. And it was one of those bathrooms where it was like a closet get ready bathroom.
Yeah.
So it was like people were in there changing. You're just like,
Yeah.
don't mind me.
Taking an extra long shower.
Just getting ready for my fight. And those forearms worked out.
I found out where to do that though.
Yeah.
I did it at the gym bathroom. No cameras in there.
Yeah, for you guys that are gonna be on the Ultimate Fighter, that's where you go.
It was
gym bathroom.
and it was real quick. I don't know if you remember the first time you ever did that when you were a kid, but it was like don't do it for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then just fucking let it rip.
Quick and easy.
Yo, I sneezed too hard, and I'm like, shit, someone's pregnant. Pants rubbed on my thing too quick.
Allergies. That's a snot loogie that hit your face.
It's like
Something about
I was about to
marriage.
say, like, you see that old footage of Tony Ferguson back in the day. He was pretty tightly, wound pretty tight. Now we know why.
yeah. He's also a fucking weird dude.
Agreed.
You ever met him? Oh yeah, he is a weird dude.
No.
So any of the guys on that show you still keep in contact with?
Yeah,
Who won that year?
Kelvin Gastelum.
That's
Okay.
right.
So, and I actually was trying to get Kelvin here for this show, but he had, and him and I
just
still
fought
talk.
this, like, 2
yeah,
weeks
no,
ago
he
or
was,
something.
he
Or
fought this past weekend in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but Kelvin, I expect I could probably get Kelvin on one of these pro shows, for a decent, I think he would do it. But so my friend Josh Saman, who we talked about earlier, he passed away. He overdosed on some drugs, I don't do drugs, but he had a promotion in Florida. So a bunch of us, my buddy Dylan, who lives in Australia, and Clint, who's from Atlanta, we all went down to the promotion in Florida. So we all hung out for a little bit. I still talk to Clint. Zach Cummings, who was on the other team, he became my head coach for MMA, and he's in Kansas City.
Now him and Kraus aren't different gyms, right? Or
Yeah, so they're different gyms now because
they were
of
together, right?
Yeah, they were Glory.
yeah,
All the shit that went on with James, so they had to change. Zach had to kind of change his
own
gym,
thing. Yeah.
and but then let's see, this guy Jimmy, he's up in Boston. He's a cop who owns. He was like one of the only black belt like specialists we had. He's fucking good. He's a good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu guy. He owns a gym up in Boston. This guy Colin, he's out in California. I don't know what he does, but Gilbert, who lives in Colorado, he was on another season of The Ultimate Fighter as well, the comeback season. Him and his son were going to be on this Invitational 3, but his son is an upcoming MMA fighter, and they fought the week before. So he was like, I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but he was going to go with Jordan Dowdy.
Oh,
So he may do the next one in October.
cool.
So-
So that's when you guys are coming back, October. Hell yeah, man. Well, we will. I'll definitely be there.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
Well, and who from your episode? That's like, well, I guess how long ago was that shot?
it's 2013, 2012.
I'm sending those guys still fighting.
I mean,
Yeah.
Calvin.
Uriah.
I mean, Uriah.
Uriah.
So our season had probably the longest longevity of people stayed in the UFC, but we are the only season that everybody got a contract.
Okay.
Like that was what was weird was our season was so good, and credit to Chael and John, they told Dana, they said everybody on this season needs a contract. They get one chance,
That's awesome.
and they were like, deal. So Uriah retired, but Uriah fought and then he did like a boxing match against I think like was it not Adrian Peterson.
No, it was It was
Someone for
a
the
football
Steelers.
player. Yeah.
Steelers, yeah. I can't remember. But then you have
Le'Veon Bell. Is that it?
yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. Yeah.
So Uriah fought for a long time. Josh would have fought, passed away. He had a crazy life he had. And then Kelvin fought for the interim title. He fought Izzy.
Oh yeah.
Kelvin's still
God,
in.
dude, that's one of my favorite MMA fights of all time. Is the Izzy Gaslin fight.
Well, Kelvin and Kelvin just fought this weekend and won. Bubba McDaniel, who was on our team, he's a bit of a head case. Had some crazy personal shit going on, so I don't blame him. Like his son was killed and his son was 2.
Oh my
So
gosh.
imagine that.
Bro.
The fact, and I know Bubba, I talked to him on a regular. The fact that he didn't go to jail for murdering someone because of that is I don't know how he didn't.
Yeah.
But then let's see, Zach just retired in the UFC last year. Thor, he's out in Sweden. He's like an engineer. We always wondered why he fought. He's like an actual fucking smart dude. He was like an engineer at a university or something. Trying to think. Clint retired. He's a fireman. I don't really know if there's anybody else. You might have gone through them all.
Yeah. Well, dude, you've had a hell of a career, man. It's done some cool shit. That's for sure.
And that's my main thing. Like, so that sentence right there, I've done cool shit. I have built a legacy for all my kids, my son, his friends think I'm rich. They're like, oh yeah, Nathan's dad's rich on TV. And if you look up like Adam Cella's like net worth, it says like 3 to 5 mil. I'm like, first off, where the fuck is that? Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, check it out. What's up? I let him go with it. Like the kids on the wrestling that I coach on wrestling, they all found the video of me getting kicked. Yeah. And 2 of them started talking some shit. Oh. And I was like, oh really? I said, oh really? I said, guess what? I made $5 million on that fight. They're like, what? Oh yeah. And then you can look it up. Yeah, and I'm like, back it up. And the one kid's like, "Can will you buy me some Prime?" Yeah, so I bought him a case of Prime, and he just he's like
your dad would get kicked in the face for free.
It was $8. Yeah, and but no, it's Prime. It's cool because it's like I've done something that it's like playing college football and then going to the NFL, right? Most people aren't going to do it.
Right. You did it.
Yeah. You did. I did it, but I always had a career outside of it. Like I never stopped working. Yeah. That's why I have retirement plans.
Well, I don't know if you remember the first day I met you, but I remember it. We were playing.
As you should.
Yeah. No, I remember it. I remember it because I was like terrified, and you ended up being really nice. But it was at it was at Finney's, my very first day in jiu-jitsu. We used to warm up playing
dodgeball.
That was the warm up, and I remember we were playing. You were on the other side, and I remember I threw a ball and hit you in the face, and you looked at me and you go, "New guy. When we're rolling, I'm coming for you." And I go, "Fuck!" And I look at Adam. He's like this big scary guy, big cauliflower ears, tattoos. I'm like, God, I'm fucked, you know. And then we ended up rolling. He submitted me, but he was very nice. And
I don't remember any of that. Thanks, Uriah.
Yeah. No, I just remember that it was just it's funny. I don't know. I didn't even know if you remembered that or not. But,
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't remember all the fans that come in. Yeah.
Well, shit, man. This is awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And is there anything else you want to highlight or talk about or
man, just
plug?
The only thing we got is July 13th. We have that open tournament, the CXBJJ open tournament. It's at Seckman High School, so it's down actually right by where I live. And so go to CXBJJchampionships.com, sign up there. And I do have to say, like, when you go there, you will not see like your weight class, your division. That automatically puts you in there, right? If you're born in 1984 and you're 210 pounds and you're a blue belt, it puts you where you need to go. We adjust the brackets later for as they need, right? Like if there's only one guy in your division, we will move you
so you to get where matches.
It goes. Yes. So you're gonna have matches. The first one, everybody had a match, right? You're not gonna get a free medal. We'll give you your money back, right? You're not gonna get a free fucking medal. Like I don't do that shit. Like, you're gonna earn it. And if there's only 2 of you, you're gonna do a round robin. Mm-hmm. So you'll have
2 out of 3.
Yes, yeah. You're gonna go. And we will always call you before to make sure you're cool with it, but you really have no choice. So so July 13th, and then we're coming back to Red Flag at October 19th. So we'll be looking for matchups for that. I'll start matching for that probably in like August.
Cool.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, well, that'll be perfect. I know there's going to be a lot of people coming off that IBJJF in September, so people will be in
big ticket seller over here. You know,
man, if I get the call, I'm in. So
I know some people.
Yeah. I'm in, man.
That's well, and the other thing is like
Connor.
I think Connor's a little heavy.
Yeah, I mean, he lets you. He reminds us of his weight daily.
I'm not heavy. I'm just like not on the lighter side of
things. I don't know if his testosterone will hold out for that.
Yeah, low T Connor.
Low T.
Well, the problem also is like
gold weighs more than silver. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. I'm so sorry. Wow. I'm not editing that out either.
The only thing is Connor's probably a little too wild to have on the mat. He'll throw
small
someone
space.
Off. Yeah. That's my only concern is like, so when Kyle competed, we had Kyle's parents in the front row.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Kyle's dad's like 80. Like, First off, if you smash Kyle's dad, Kyle's gonna kill you. Right. But like, I'm gonna be pissed off because like, then I gotta readjust. It's almost like I have to readjust and have like a barrier, and I don't want that. Mm-hmm. So
Well, yeah, because you're limited with the space that you have. You need that space for seats.
Yeah. So, but no, that's it. I will say the NFA is coming to, so the MMA fights that I commentate for, they have a fight August. I believe it's like 14th. No.
Yeah, Brad was telling us about
17th maybe.
Something like that.
Those are great fights, man. If you guys like fights, tickets are cheap. The venue's badass.
Well, that's Armory, right?
The Armory, yeah.
Sick.
So the thing that's crazy is like when I started fighting, my first fight was the Stratford Inn.
Over there in Fenton?
It's not there no more. Yes.
Oh yeah, but
yes, that's the Ratford. It was, but it was like that was cool, right?
Yeah.
And these kids now they're having their debut fights at the Armory in front of 1,500 people, and like a great light show, a great
walkout
production. Yes, and they don't understand that. Like how lucky they are. Mm-hmm. But Brad and Marlene put on a good show. The matchmaker is this guy Lance DeClue who does a fucking awesome job. Like, not to shit on other promotions, but there's another one in town that if they like the matchups are never good, right? If you have a ticket seller, they're like, oh, he's gonna get an easy fight. We need to make sure he wins. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Brad and Marlene matched it up very even. Like I retired with them. When they matched me up, they matched me up with a guy, similar records. The only thing I will say is my daughter came like 2 weeks early. I told Brad, I'm not cutting a fucking pound. I'll be 210 pounds for the fight. We're going to go to 85. I was like, I'm not cutting a pound. I don't even know if I'll be in the gym. My daughter's in the NICU because she was early. I was like, I'm still going to fight. Sold a fuck ton of tickets, but like, I'll still be there. But like, I don't know what version you're going to get. And luckily my opponent was cool with it. I think Brad, he'll never tell me, but he might have slid the guy $500 or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how Brad is. Brad will never tell you when he does you a favor. Like, he just does it, and that's him.
I'll tell you, especially in real estate, that's a dude to connect with.
Really? I've never met him.
Brad's pretty cool.
Cool.
Brad, so he's that guy who...
Does he train?
He's how I met Mike Langsdorff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Brad is the guy who... especially with this, like, promotion stuff, if I call him, I'm like, hey, man, who sells bleacher seats? He knows someone.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad,
got a guy for everything.
Who custom makes shoelaces? I got a guy. Like, it's just fucking weird, right? It's just he's got everybody for something. But he loves helping people, and he never asks for anything back. Like, they help me with my shows. They always help me with my stuff. I help them with theirs. They help me with mine. I send them money. They're like, you'd have to pay us. I'm like, well, you pay me. I pay you. Like, this is how we do it. But great dude.
Get him on the show.
Get some people in his
fight. He'd
fight.
be a fun guy to have on the show.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
Both talk real estate and fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if
that's usually what our podcasts are. Either one or the other.
Yeah, no, he's never fought.
but he knows promoting and putting stuff together. So, But one more thing, we like to end our show with one last question. Kind of catch guys by surprise. It's called the Tombstone Game. Here lies Adam Cella. What's it say on your tombstone?
Beloved father.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Simple.
There you go.
Easy.
Because like I said, being a dad is the coolest fucking thing ever. And you guys know, right? If you got kids, you know. And you don't have kids?
I know what it's like to be someone's kid.
Do you know what it's like to have intercourse?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure we're there. Making sure.
I know what it's like to be scared after it too. So
I've never had a scare.
Good for you.
No one's. Well, I did have a scare because I raised a fucking kid for a couple of years, and then that was a tough time. But we're past it. We're good.
Cool.
So yes,
Awesome.
Tombstone would be beloved father.
Perfect. Yeah. Love it. All right, guys. Well, Adam, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys,
and you guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button under the video, and comment what you guys thought. We will see you guys next time.